Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager here at McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news update and information, including your Maverick information on Monday. And we're going to go through. I want to kind of recap, kind of cover some things. I got some information here that I think will be really fun to share when talking about the process of production and how it works. And I think it'll be enlightening. It was enlightening to me when I was given this information this last week. And also, before we get into that, I want to give you some updates on what's going on or what we know about the topics we talked about last week. If you didn't watch that video, you can watch it at the end of this one. I'll have it linked down below, so you'll be able to see that, or on the screen, I should say, one of these two places. So you can check that video out where we talked about the recall for the 24 model year, that backup camera that is plaguing so many Mavericks between 22 and 24 model year, as well as we talked about the quality holds and why vehicles on the 25 model year have not been shipped out yet. So hopefully you got a chance to watch that video. And I've had a lot of people on Maverick Truck Club that still think that the hold is because of the recall. But I'm going to lighten you a little bit today to let you know this was planned a long time ago, even before I even talked about it back in August. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of these videos, especially our Maverick Monday videos. And if it's the first time watching this video, we do this every week. In fact, we started this beginning of 2024 calendar year, the very first week. And I didn't really think I'd be able to do this every week throughout this year. I think I missed 1 week, but a lot of episodes on this. We're getting close to 50 now. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. And so let's jump into this. Let's talk about production. First of all, let's talk about the news updates for the Maverick, the recall. 2024, anything 2022 to 2024 model year. There's over 200,000 vehicles that are affected by this recall. Talked about this last week. Now, the recall is still out there. There's still not a fix. I did check right before I recorded this video. As a recording of this video Monday afternoon, there's not a recall fix for this yet. So we still have to hold on that. So anybody that has your vehicle showed up, you may not be able to take delivery of your vehicle because it is a stop sale, stop delivery. You're not supposed to sell them, not supposed to drive them. We have all of ours. We pulled the keys on all of our Mavericks. They're parked in the back part of our lot. Took them off the website. Can't sell them. They're not even on our website right now. And so hopefully this happens pretty quickly because there are a lot of people that are wanting a good deal. All right, moving on to 25 model year. There are a lot of people that theirs are built and they haven't shipped out yet. There's a quality hold. A lot of people think that has to do with that recall. It's a totally different. The recall that we're having issues with over there, as I mentioned in that video from last week, has to do with the backup camera and it's a software issue. What's used in 25 model year is not the same software or the same screen or software system as in the 24 model year in previous. It is new. It is the Sync 4 system with a 13.2-inch screen, different camera, and in some situations, even a 360-degree camera if you have a lariat or a trimmer, right? And so it is different. So that recall is not affecting the 25 model year. It is being held up for quality holds and quality checks. This system, I was told, is 3 years in the making of this. They knew that there was going to be a hold years ago. So when the Maverick first came out the first year, they didn't do a quality hold. Vehicles came in, and we had some recalls and some issues there. A lot of that quality hold and everything is because they want to make sure from the suppliers between and the production part of it that everything is working good. Everything is built in quality. Everything's fit. It's finishing. It's connected and everything. You might say, well, Tim, it's not a big redesign year, but it is a refresh year. You got to remember, even though like the fenders and the doors and the hood or the roof and everything and the bed aren't different, those headlights are different. The grill is different. Those all need to fit in there. The interior dash is different, right? The screens are different, so they have to fit in there right? There's a lot of changes to those screens and an interior as well to make sure everything fits and works fine, and to make sure that the new screens with the new Sync 4 system, which they didn't have before, that it works with the rest of the vehicle too, right? And communicates right well. So that all needs to happen. So holding these up for that. Now, some people are asking, is it 6 weeks for my vehicle period? So if it's built in January, I have to wait 6 weeks then? No, this is at the very beginning of the production. Well, I wouldn't say beginning, because we're going to get into that and how production really works. But it's not necessarily that point. It's, hey, they're going to start it. They're going to be looking these over certain batch. And then once they do that, they're going to start releasing the vehicles. So if yours was built early December, it's not going to wait. It's not maybe be held 6 weeks. And we use 6 weeks as more of an umbrella. It's not going to be exactly 6 weeks. It could be shorter than 6 weeks. We can hope. Could be a little longer. Explorer, I can say, was probably longer than 6 weeks. It almost went into 2 months on some of those early builds. And then at that point, they are going to need to go out. But you got to remember, they may not go out first come, first in. When we first in, first out, if they're producing vehicles, when they say, yep, we got the okay to go ahead and ship these, and it's being built in the factory, that one might actually go out first because it's already in the line. It's in the process. Why move it over here to bring another one out when they can just keep that one going? I saw this happen with my Expedition. I had some issues with some chip. We were missing a lot of chips back in the day, and we got a 22 Expedition, and mine was one of the first ones built, but it went off to the side. It was put there until they had chips in. When the chips came in, they didn't focus the chips on just the ones that had already been built. They had to give them to the factory too, because it just doesn't make sense. They could be putting those chips in as they're producing them. So they gave, half of those, or maybe more than half, I don't know, to the production line so they could be built. So I did see probably about 4 or 5 or 6 Expeditions that came in that were built even a month after mine was, because they were in the production line when that happened. Then when they got their supply back in, and so then the others had to be put in, and it's a lot tedious process, so it took a little longer. So you might see that happen on some of the Mavericks that were built maybe the first week. And I don't know. I guess in my mind, I envisioned that there's this parking lot, and they park the vehicles and they just park them right behind each other, right? And so the ones that were built first are clear in the back, and then they park the ones sooner, and behind it. So almost getting an early production date is almost, delaying your vehicle a little more. Hopefully it doesn't, but I'm not sure. Again, I don't know what it looks like. I'd love to be there and see what the process is, but I can't tell you for sure. So it's going to be pretty random. So you might actually see some people that were ordered after you show up. Don't get angry about that. You're going to be a Maverick Truck Club. Don't get on there and go, I don't understand. Mine hasn't even shipped out of the factory yet, but this one that was built 2 or 3 or 4 weeks after me has already showed up at the dealership. It's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now. Don't get upset about it. They're going to try to get those out as efficient as they can, and they're going to use the most efficient way for them to get vehicles out and just get them moving, right? And it may be a more efficient way for them to do it, but it may not be a fair way for you waiting on your vehicle. So hopefully that makes sense on that. But let me talk about how production works now, and we'll get into this. And I was given some information that I think is going to be very valuable, and in learning how this process works. Because I had someone, the reason this came up is someone reached out to me and said, Tim, I have a January job 2 build. I have a production date in January, the week of January 6th. Is going to have, it's a Lariat that's going to have the trailer features and everything on it. And he showed me his sheet, his email, and I'm like, that is weird, because job 2 is not supposed to start till February 3rd. Reached out to some sources and got some information back that is very valuable, and understanding how this works. So let me go back to the production for job 1 production, which is the startup for the 25 model year. Now, something that you should know is that Ford will always, they do not want to see a delay in production other than a switch over on a new model year for like 1 day or 2. So I've had some people ask me that and said, there's no way that they're stopping production of 1 and they're able to start back up in just a couple of days. Well, that's because they do what they call an MP1 and an MP2, and that stands for major production 1 and major production 2. So major production 1 is a very slow, limited ramp up of production, and that will run in conjunction with the previous model year. So let's talk about 25 model year. So we actually had one of our orders that said, how is this possible? That was built on November 7th. I said, well, production doesn't start till the 11th. How is that possible? It's because that order was actually part of the MP1. So 24 model years were being produced. They were also making 25 model years at the same time on that same plant on the assembly line. So they're working them in there together. So they're kind of blending them together, right? And they're doing that so that the suppliers and labor can get used to managing the new configuration. So they'll do that ahead of time. I actually knew that they made pre-production vehicles for like media and for journalists and for other people for those testing vehicles. We saw those running around for 6 months ago, right? So they built those on the assembly line along with the 24s. And so they'll do this in more vehicles. So it is a very slow ramp up on limited volume that will run prior to 24 stopping completely, so that when they're ready to stop that and start full run, that's called MP2, and that is they're in full production mode and they're producing them at the higher speed, and they've shut off 24 and started 25, but they will overlap that. They do the same thing for job 2. So in job 2, they're going to have some job 2s running along with some job 1s in the month of January. So if you could be one of those that's going to get a job 2 built in January, right, along with the job 1s being produced, and they'll make sure that's ready to go and it's good to go and they're not having any issues, so that on that 3rd of February, it's going to be switched over completely to job 2 with no job 1s being produced. So if that makes sense, it's kind of an overlap that, things are going to overlap. So they do that with the start of production. While 24 production was going along, they were building some early 25s in a very small, limited number, so they could make sure everything's good to go and the assembly line was ready to go full speed on November 11th. And then they cut the 24s off, and we're only building 25s, and that's your MP2 or major production 2. They do the same thing for job 1 and job 2. So you'll see in January, probably see some job 2s and some job 1s being built in that month, and that's how that works. So I was enlightened on that and thought I'd share that with you as well. I was told I could share that with you, so hopefully this makes some sense to you and made sense to me. Anyway, hopefully hopefully I explained it well to you guys out there. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll reply to those as best I can. I'll post this on the Maverick Truck Club too. I want to thank them. Maverick Truck Club, they could, as the admins, being a dealer, they could just nix my videos and not put them on there. I do want to appreciate them for allowing me to be able to post the videos and help people out and answer any questions I have on that as well. So I'll put that in there as a post for Maverick Truck Club, this video anyway. And if you have any questions, you can comment those down there too. And make sure, if you want my answer, go ahead and tag at Ford Video Guy. That way I can see that, because I don't always follow the thread 100% of the time. So make sure you're doing that. Or if you reply and quote me, then also I'll know that as well and get notification of that too. So I want to be helping out as much as I can in the community and helping everybody out understand what's going on. And hopefully this is a week, folks. Hopefully this is the week of the 9th. This will be 4 weeks in. So it did say about 6 weeks. We don't know if it's going to be 4, 6, could be 8. So hopefully they get shipped out real soon. As you can see, actually, I wanted to post this. I forgot to mention this earlier, but here's actually an image that the vehicles have not been shipped out. This is actually the order that was built on the 7th of November. So this is one of those MP1 orders. And as you can see in that order, of course, I kind of blacked out some of the VIN number there and the order number to protect the people that have that order in there. But that one there does say non-shippable under the VIN. And then also, if you have one of those out there, because some people said theirs have already been shipped, I was like, I don't think they've been shipped yet. This is, well, I have an ETA that's coming up in 2 weeks, so mine's going to be here. Okay, well, check that out. Have your dealers go to Vinview, which is what you're seeing there. Vinview. In there, you will see the last update will be the location of the vehicle. In this case, the vehicle is still at the plant. So it is there. Now, there's a possibility that this one doesn't get released for a later one. And that's a possibility. But check that out. See where that last update. Have them go into Vinview, pull your VIN number, and see, where is it sitting right now? Is it sitting at the plant, or is it on a rail headed to you. And that's what we hope. And we can't wait to see that, so everybody can get their Mavericks. And so hopefully this does help you out, give you some information on what's going on with the Mavericks on this beautiful Maverick Monday. Hopefully you're having a great Monday as well. And hopefully your shopping is going well for Christmas. Until the next video, stay positive, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.